Welcome back, the followers of Stoic wisdom by Zeno. Have you ever gone out of your way to help someone, only to feel like you've been slapped in the face by their indifference, or worse, their disrespect? Maybe you held the door open and they just walked by without a second glance. Or you helped a colleague only to be met with a snarky comment. It stings, doesn't it? You might even start asking yourself, did I do something wrong? Is my kindness useless? Before you spiral into self-doubt, let's pause for a moment. The problem isn't your kindness. The problem lies in how you give it, when you give it, and to whom you give it. You see, kindness is often misunderstood. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true kindness is a mark of strength, a sign of inner peace. But when you give your kindness away freely, without wisdom, without boundaries, you're opening yourself up to being taken advantage of. This video isn't about telling you to stop being kind. Absolutely not. It's about helping you transform your kindness into something powerful, something that reflects your own self-worth and personal boundaries. No more being trampled on. No more feeling disrespected for simply trying to do good. Together, we're going to explore timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy and dive into how to practice kindness in a way that commands respect, not just from others, but from yourself. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to make your kindness a force that's impossible to ignore, a force that protects your peace and guards your freedom. Stick with me. Every moment of this message has the power to shift the way you see kindness and how you use it. Are you ready to reclaim your strength? Let's get started. Number 1. Why does your kindness work against you? Think about this. Have you ever found yourself giving so much of your time and energy to others, only to feel like you're being taken for granted? Or worse, that your kindness is working against you? It sounds like an unfair paradox, right? But it's more common than you think. Let me explain. Imagine someone like John, a neighbor who's always there when someone needs help, whether it's delivering spare keys when a friend forgets them or fixing a neighbor's broken gate. He's the first to lend a hand. For a while, his acts of kindness are met with genuine gratitude. People appreciate him. But over time, John starts noticing something that stings. His kindness is no longer seen as an unexpected gift, but as an expectation. One day, when John says no, he's too busy to help, he's met with criticism. "Why can't you just do it like you always do?" they say. Suddenly, the man who gave so freely starts wondering, is my kindness even valued anymore? We've all been there, haven't we? Maybe you've given so much of yourself to others, only to find your generosity met with demands, not thanks. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in, and it hits hard. The problem isn't your kindness. The issue lies in how you give it. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic master, wisely said, "The soul is dyed the color of its thoughts." If your kindness is driven by a need to please or the fear of rejection, you're actually setting yourself up for dependency. You're giving from a place of need, and that's where things get twisted. Think of it this way. Imagine you're handing out pieces of yourself to everyone you meet, and over time, you've given so much away that there's nothing left. You're left empty. That's the danger of kindness without boundaries. But if you center your kindness in self-awareness and strong values, it becomes a powerful force. You're not giving to be accepted. You're giving because you want to, because it aligns with who you are. That's what makes kindness a strength that can't be diminished. Take Sophia, for example. She's a dedicated employee at a large firm, always staying late to take on extra work, never complaining. At first, her efforts are praised, her colleagues admire her, and her boss is grateful. But as time passes, it becomes expected. The praise turns into silent assumptions. One day, Sophia needs to take time off for her health, and when she declines to stay late, her boss seems annoyed. Her colleagues complain. That's when it hits her. Her kindness, her willingness to put others' needs before her own, has become a cycle of expectation, not respect. Sophia's story is a powerful reminder that kindness, without boundaries, can lead to burnout. It doesn't inspire respect. It creates a breeding ground for entitlement. Stoic philosophy teaches that kindness isn't about unconditional sacrifice. It's about balance and wisdom. Kindness should not come at the cost of your own well-being. Setting boundaries is not only important, it's necessary. It protects your kindness from being exploited. The lesson is simple but crucial. Give from the heart, but don't forget to draw lines. Your kindness is valuable, it's not an obligation. When you practice purposeful kindness, you protect your dignity and ensure that your actions hold the respect they deserve. Kindness should never be a tool to seek approval. It should be a reflection of your inner strength, something that cannot be diminished by anyone else. So, protect yourself, guard your peace, reclaim your freedom. Be kind, but be wise about it. And remember, your value isn't determined by how much you give to others. It's determined by how much you respect yourself. If you found today's lesson on transforming kindness into a source of inner strength valuable, imagine how it could impact your life and the lives of those around you. This kind of wisdom isn't just for today, it's for lasting change. So, if you believe this content can truly make a difference, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't forget to share your own experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and continue learning together. Your story could inspire someone else to live with more strength and purpose. Number 2. Is your kindness just making you a people pleaser? Let's get straight to the point. Have you ever felt like your kindness is being used against you? Like no matter how much you give, it's never enough. The truth is, kindness, when offered without boundaries, can easily become a trap. It might feel good in the moment to help others, but when it's done out of fear or without thought, you might just be setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration. Let's break it down. There's a fine line between being kind and trying to please everyone. Think of someone like Mark, a man who always puts his family first. Mark works tirelessly to provide for his loved ones. He spends long hours at the office, and when he's home, he's fixing things around the house or driving his kids to their various activities. At first, everyone appreciates his efforts, right? They love how he's always there, always helping, always ready to give. But here's the catch. Over time, Mark's constant availability becomes the expectation. No one stops to think about what it takes for him to keep up that level of service. And one day, when he's too tired to take on another task, he says, no. Instead of understanding, he's met with complaints. Why can't you help this time? You always do. And that's when it hits him. His kindness, his constant willingness to sacrifice, hasn't earned respect. It's just been taken for granted. Worse, it's created a sense of entitlement in those around him. They expect him to always be there. They assume he has nothing better to do, and Mark is left exhausted and unappreciated. This is a powerful reminder. Kindness without boundaries is often seen as a weakness. Stoic philosophy teaches us that kindness should be a conscious, deliberate act. It's not about endless sacrifice. It's about understanding when, how, and to whom to offer your time and energy. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your kindness comes from a place of fear, fear of letting people down, fear of rejection, then you'll end up wearing the color of dependency and resentment. Now, let's consider Lisa, a dedicated nurse who always goes the extra mile for her patients and co-workers. She stays late, covers extra shifts, helps when no one asks her to. At first, her efforts are recognized and people thank her, but over time the gratitude fades, and what was once a genuine act of kindness becomes an expectation. One day, Lisa decides to take a break to focus on her health. She needs it. But instead of being supportive, her colleagues criticize her for not being there as much as before. This is when Lisa finally realizes the hard truth. Her kindness, without boundaries, had only made her a tool to be used. Stoic philosophy teaches us that real kindness doesn't come from self-sacrifice. It comes from wisdom and balance. Setting boundaries around your kindness doesn't make you selfish. It's a way to honor yourself and those you help. Boundaries are not walls that keep others out. They are frameworks that foster healthy relationships based on mutual respect. Next time you feel the urge to say yes to something, ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? Take a moment to evaluate your motivations before jumping in. Is this act of kindness aligned with your values, or is it simply an attempt to gain approval? Remember, setting boundaries doesn't take away from your kindness. It elevates it. It protects your peace and ensures that when you do offer your help, it's genuine and appreciated. Kindness, when practiced wisely, is a powerful force that no one can overlook. Guard your peace, protect your energy, and reclaim your freedom. True kindness comes from strength, not fear. Number 3. Are you setting boundaries or just being taken advantage of? Let's face it, when was the last time you said yes to something out of kindness, but deep down you really didn't want to? Maybe it was helping someone move, covering an extra shift, or loaning money to a friend who never seems to pay it back. You did it because you wanted to be kind, but what you might not have realized is that your kindness without boundaries can quickly turn into something else, an open invitation for people to take advantage of you. And that doesn't feel like kindness, does it? Imagine this: Jack, a man known for his generosity. He's the first to help when someone needs a hand, always jumping in with enthusiasm and a smile. But over time, people start expecting it. Jack will do it. That becomes the unspoken rule. Jack's kindness, once appreciated, soon becomes a demand. Then one day when Jack says, "No, I'm too tired," instead of understanding, he's met with disappointment and criticism. And that's when it hits him. His kindness, though pure, has been misunderstood and exploited. This isn't just Jack's story. This happens to many of us every day. We think kindness is just about giving and giving, without realizing that it must be paired with self-assertion for it to truly matter. If you're giving out of fear of rejection or to please others, you're setting yourself up to be taken advantage of. That's where Stoic philosophy comes in, reminding us that true kindness isn't about endless giving, but about intentional giving. It's about knowing when to offer help and when to hold back, based on your values and your mental well-being. Kindness should never be tied to fear or the need to please. It should be an expression of inner strength, of self-respect. Let's take Emily, a mother who always puts her family's needs before her own. She sacrifices her time, her hobbies, and even her self-care to make sure everyone else is taken care of. In the beginning, her family appreciates her, but as time goes on, her sacrifices become expected. Emily reaches a breaking point. She decides that once a week, she's going to dedicate time just for herself, whether that's reading, yoga, or simply resting. Her family resists at first, unused to this new Emily, but she knows that if she doesn't set boundaries, she'll burn out. And what good is her kindness if she has nothing left to give? Through this choice, Emily learns that loving herself is just as important as loving others. This is the power of boundaries. Stoic philosophy teaches us that boundaries are not walls. They're tools to protect our peace and sustain healthy relationships. Boundaries don't block love or kindness. They clarify them. When you set limits, you're teaching others how to respect you and how to value your kindness. Think about a situation where someone regularly borrows money from you. At first, you're happy to help, but as time goes on, you begin to feel taken advantage of. Without boundaries, this cycle will continue. Setting a firm but respectful limit doesn't just protect your finances. It challenges that person to reflect on their own behavior. It might feel uncomfortable, but in the end, it creates a healthier, more balanced relationship. Kindness should never cost you your self-respect. It should be given with confidence and clarity, without compromising your values. Saying no is hard, but it's necessary. In fact, a carefully thought-out no can earn more respect than a forced yes. So, when was the last time you set a boundary? The next time someone asks something of you, ask yourself, can I say no without feeling guilty? Protecting your peace and setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about protecting the quality of the kindness you give. Your kindness deserves respect, and you deserve to have the space to nurture it. Now, I want you to think about the balance between kindness and self-respect. It's not always easy, but it's essential. So go ahead, take a step back, reclaim your peace, and guard your freedom. Your kindness will thrive when you protect it. If you found today's lesson on transforming kindness into a source of inner strength valuable, imagine how it could impact your life and the lives of those around you. This kind of wisdom isn't just for today, it's for lasting change. So, if you believe this content can truly make a difference, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't forget to share your own experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and continue learning together. Your story could inspire someone else to live with more strength and purpose. Number 4. Are you losing yourself by being too kind? Here's why. Setting boundaries is crucial. Have you ever felt like your kindness was being taken for granted? Maybe you've spent hours helping someone only for them to come back, expecting more, without a hint of gratitude. That's a gut punch, isn't it? The more you give, the more it feels like others start taking your kindness as an entitlement, not a gift. The question is, how do we protect our kindness without losing ourselves in the process? I learned this lesson the hard way a few years ago. A close friend of mine was going through a tough time financially, and her car broke down. She couldn't afford a mechanic, so I spent my entire Saturday diagnosing the problem, sourcing parts, and fixing it for her. At first, she was incredibly grateful, bringing me coffee, sharing pastries. But a few weeks later, the car had another issue, and she called me again. This time, it wasn't a request. It felt more like an expectation. It wasn't that I didn't want to help, but there was a tone in her voice that suggested she thought I'd just drop everything once again. And that's when I realized, kindness without boundaries isn't just draining. It diminishes the very thing you're trying to offer. It stops being a choice and starts feeling like an obligation. This is exactly what Stoic philosophy warns against. Kindness, when done without wisdom, can easily be misunderstood, undervalued, or worse, exploited. You see, true kindness is not about giving until you're empty. It's about giving freely, within your limits. And that's why setting boundaries isn't a sign of weakness. It's a way of preserving your kindness. Boundaries aren't walls that push people away. They're bridges that create healthier, more respectful relationships. I saw this play out with Josh, a colleague of mine. He was the type to take on extra tasks for anyone who asked. He couldn't say no. He didn't want to disappoint anyone. At first, everyone praised him, calling him an amazing co-worker. But eventually, Josh started burning out. He felt exhausted and even a little resentful. When he finally started setting clear limits, saying no to unnecessary tasks, and focusing on his own work, something surprising happened. Rather than losing respect from his colleagues, he gained more. They saw him as someone who knew his worth and didn't just give away his time freely. And then there's the story of Sarah, a busy mother I know. She spent all her time caring for her family, giving up hobbies, her own personal time, just to meet everyone else's needs. At first, her sacrifices were appreciated, but over time, they became expected. So Sarah decided to take one evening a week for herself. She started going to yoga, something she had always wanted to do but felt guilty about. At first, her family resisted, even felt uncomfortable, but over time, they saw the change in her. Her energy renewed, her balance restored. They learned that when Sarah protected her own peace, everyone benefited. What these stories teach us is simple. Kindness is about giving freely, not giving in to pressure. Stoic philosophy tells us that kindness must be aligned with wisdom and self-awareness. It's not about being a martyr or losing yourself in the process. It's about offering something genuine, something that comes from a place of balance. Ask yourself, do I genuinely want to help? Does this action align with my values? If the answer is no, that's your cue to step back. Remember, kindness is powerful, but only when it's practiced with self-worth and boundaries intact. You're not helping anyone, least of all yourself, if you give so much that you have nothing left. So next time you're asked for a favor or help, take a moment, reflect. Ask yourself if this is truly how you want to show your kindness. Reclaim your freedom. Protect your peace. It's only when we set boundaries that we can truly give without losing ourselves. What do you think? Have you ever been in a situation where your kindness was taken for granted? I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. Let's reclaim our power together. Number 5. Is your kindness making you stronger or just making you a target? We often believe that kindness is a simple gift, something we give without expecting anything in return. It feels natural, even virtuous, to help others, to share, and to offer our support. But what happens when your kindness is ignored? What if it's met with disrespect or worse, taken for granted? Does that mean we should stop being kind? Is it possible that kindness, far from being a sign of strength, could actually leave us vulnerable? Here's the hard truth. Kindness can make you stronger, but only if it comes from a place of inner strength, not a need for validation or approval. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that kindness, when rooted in personal conviction, is an unshakable force. It's a flame that can't be blown out, no matter how cold the world around you may get. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." His words are a reminder that the value of kindness doesn't depend on how others react. It's about how firmly you stand by your moral compass, no matter how the world treats you. Let me share a simple but powerful story. Picture yourself at work, tirelessly supporting a colleague, helping them meet deadlines, offering your ideas and energy to ensure a project's success. But when the project finally succeeds, your colleague takes all the credit, without acknowledging your contributions. The sting is real, isn't it? You might feel betrayed, hurt, and even question your own worth. But here's where Stoicism can change your perspective. The Stoics would tell you that your worth isn't tied to how others receive your kindness. What matters is your steadfast commitment to doing what is right. You chose to help, not because you wanted a reward or recognition, but because you believe in supporting others, in doing good for the sake of doing good. When kindness comes from this place, it doesn't crumble because of ingratitude. It remains strong, unshaken by others' actions. This same principle applies in our personal lives. Think about a mother who spends her days taking care of her family. She prepares every meal, cleans up afterward, and ensures everyone is taken care of. At first, her efforts are appreciated, and she feels valued. But over time, her acts of kindness become an unspoken expectation. No one thanks her. The gratitude fades, and in its place, resentment might creep in. Why isn't anyone noticing the effort I put in? If her kindness were based on the need for validation, she'd eventually burn out, frustrated by the lack of appreciation. But if her kindness stems from a deeper place, love for her family, a belief that this is how she nurtures them, then her strength remains intact. Even when others overlook her sacrifices, she stands firm. She doesn't need applause to keep going. Stoicism challenges us to reflect on our motivations for kindness. Why are we being kind? Where does our kindness come from? These are tough questions, but they are crucial if we want to build strength through kindness. If your kindness is driven by a desire for approval or recognition, it will be fragile. It can be easily broken when it's not reciprocated. But if your kindness is rooted in your core values, your inner will, and a commitment to doing what is right, it becomes a force that nothing can shake. True kindness strikes a delicate balance. It's not about giving everything you have without considering your own needs. It's about compassion mixed with self-respect, empathy paired with boundaries. It's about ensuring that both parties, yourself and others, benefit from your kindness. Healthy relationships are built on this exchange, where both people grow and learn. When you practice this kind of kindness, it transforms into something powerful. It's no longer about being the doormat that others walk on. It becomes a force that nurtures mutual respect, deepens understanding, and creates lasting bonds. As Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." When practiced with wisdom, kindness not only eases the suffering of others, but it strengthens us as well. It becomes a living expression of dignity and inner strength. But, and this is important, kindness only works this way when you don't lose sight of your own self-worth. You cannot give from an empty cup. Are you being kind to yourself first? Is your kindness constructive? Does it help both you and others grow? If the answer is yes, your kindness is not just an act. It's a reflection of your character, your values, and your strength. In conclusion, kindness, when rooted in inner strength and aligned with our values, becomes a powerful force that not only uplifts others, but also fortifies our own sense of self. It's about finding balance, setting boundaries, and giving without the need for recognition. When we choose kindness from a place of integrity, it becomes unshakable, no matter how others may react. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how kindness has shaped your life. Let's continue this journey together, one thoughtful act at a time.